So you guys just strike up a friendship?
Ronaldinho?
Yeah.
It was more so just like a respect for each other. Like I wasn't hitting him on the phone or nothing. I had his number at that time.
Right.
But like,
the reason I say I don't want to doubt, because I mean obviously I'm not trying to say that was your best friend in the world. But the reason I say that is that we're in a club in Miami a decade later, and I remember James was like, "Yo, isn't that Ronaldinho?" Which is the craziest thing in the world, right? And just to tell a story about how Ronaldinho's probably top 20 most recognized people in the world. The world. And we are down on we're down on Live on Sunday night, isn't that whatever the night is in Miami? There's random football players walking in. Everybody's from the Floyd Mayweather's there. Lil Wayne was there or something.
Lil Wayne was there. The French national team just won the World Cup. They were there. And some it was Rick Ross was there. John Wall was there. All these people are there, right? And they're just calling their names out and oh, this person is here, that person's there. And Ronaldinho's standing there, no security, no nothing, in a Nike sweatsuit next to the bathroom. With a Kango on. And nobody has a clue who the hell he is. And he's the most recognizable. He makes more money than all those people damn near combined. And he's just standing there minding his own business, and it's just like, wow, that's so crazy how different the world is, right? Like, I think it was Trent Williams. And it was like, you're Trent Williams. Yeah. Like, John Wall. And it's like, this guy right here is $230 million. Draymond was there.
And Draymond, yeah. So it's like, and he's just standing there, and he's minding his own business. He's having a good time. And then James White says, isn't that him? And you say, yeah, that's my man. And he locks eyes on you, and he goes crazy. Like he just saw his best friend in the world. And he's like, oh, my God. I don't know what the hell he's saying. And
speaking Italian.
Yeah, and he's so excited to see you. And the weirdest thing is, so now, out the blue, he's standing there by himself, and as you watch the rest of the night, fans are asking to take pictures with this person, that person, and it's a different thing. Like, oh, one picture. Once they realize who he is and he's there, out the blue, tabloids are there.
Crazy.
The cameras start going crazy. You know what I mean? Not like, can I take a picture with No. People with that size camera come out and they start taking pictures. Paparazzi appears out the blue and he's there. And that's just the weirdest thing in the world, that he could be the biggest star, such a huge star in the world. And here, down on South Beach, he's walking around and it takes a foreigner to even recognize who the hell he is. He's just literally standing there in an all-white Nike, like you said, a Kango, looking like somebody's drunk uncle or something, you know what I mean? And he was excited.
He creeping.
Yeah.
He's just being a creeper, been live.
Yeah, and this guy's just standing there. He's worth $500 million. Yep. That's a wild story. But like I said, he comes over and he's excited to see you. You guys take a picture. Matter of fact, I took the picture and he posted on his on his Instagram feed. Right. And I mean, he's got some quadrillion million followers. And I don't know, that was just kind of cool. And I guess one of the perks
went crazy.
I remember people was asking me how you know that dude? I was like, I don't know. My friend. It was the weirdest thing in the world. Now, so you're over there. You're the highest paid player in Italy, or Europe? American, highest paid American, and life is going good. And then it kind of isn't.
Okay, so from then it started. So my last year in Milan, I had a 2-year. I had a 1+1 in Milan. 1+1. The only stipulation is we had to make the finals, and then I'd have been locked on another year in Milan with some, good money. So for the first time in my career, I had to miss games from an injury. My knee, it wasn't nothing torn, nothing. It was just overuse. So I needed to rest. So they started to panic. Went to the semifinals, lost. So they basically didn't pick up the contract next year. And what they did was, not only didn't pick it up, they kind of smeared my name. His knee is done. So just like that, those offers wasn't the same. So I'm like, dang. I remember being at Disney World with my family, not really enjoying, because I'm trying to lock in something. I'm usually signed by now.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, it was a coach that I played against over the years in Italy, that was in Turkey. Now, it's crazy how ignorant I was, because I actually played in Turkey before against those teams. I knew about Turkey, but I was so comfortable in Italy that I'm like, dang, all right, I signed in Turkey. Man, I'm gone to I'm thinking I'm going to, be in a village somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Not realizing Istanbul is popping.
Right.
Popping.
Yes,
like,
it is. Yes, it
better
is.
than, it's the best city. It's the best city to play in Europe, I believe. Istanbul. So we get there. So I'm like, dang, all right. My man D. Will, this is the lockout year. Before the last lockout was that 2012-ish? 11, 12.
Yeah.
So D. Will is there. So I'm like, all right, this is going to be cool because I know this is publicity and it's a friend of mine. So get there, D. Will is there. I actually signed and they said they were only... So the word is out about my knee. So they'd give me extra exams. They pretty much, I had to sign something saying if something happens to this knee, they're not liable.
Right.
So it's on you, player. You want to go out there and hoop, it's on you.
Right.
We're going to pay you as long as your knee works.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right. So imagine the pressure, though. Not having nothing lined up that next year. Everything is pretty much day by day. Like, I get hurt in practice doing anything. So, end up, D. Will left. They bring Carlos Arroyo in. They bring Popsman Sabansu in. We already had our four-man was probably one of the best shooters in Europe at the time. We had Erwin Dudley, who went to Alabama with Mo Williams and Rod Grizzard, a solid big man, but he has a Turkish passport. So our team was probably good enough to compete on the EuroLeague level. But we was only playing in the Euro Challenge Cup. Then the cups over there is the EuroLeague, Euro Cup, Euro Challenge. So these are the cups that you play in throughout the season that aren't in your domestic league. So you have your domestic Italian league, domestic Turkish league, etc. Then the top teams from each country, the top plays in the EuroLeague. Then your next tier plays in the Euro Cup, others. Euro Challenge. So anyway, we destroyed the Euro Challenge. Win that. We win the mid-season cup, which is the top 8 teams after the first round of games, because you just play each team twice, home and away. After the first round of games is the cup. The top 8 teams playing like a round robin, final 8 type thing. We won that. Then we won the championship. So probably not the only team, but one of the few to win all 3. The trifecta. So I'm like, I had a little hiccup with that one little year as far as the knee. All right, this time I'm like, man, I'm gonna break the bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, back to the bidding war.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a bidding war in Turkey for the top 2 teams in Turkey. I just sat back and just waited. So signed a 3-year deal. So I go back there, go to Turkey, and the team that I ended up deciding to go to, since day one, there were issues with management, sponsorships. They didn't get the sponsor that they were supposed to get. I think one of their sponsors was a hospital, and one of their sponsors was a hospital, and then somebody from the girls' team got injured and didn't want to get their hip surgery done at that hospital. She wanted to go somewhere else. It wasn't a good look for that hospital, who's the sponsor of your team. They took the bag away.
Mm-hmm.
So what's so crazy is we'll get into it, but like looking back at it, all of that, everything that happened could have been avoided if I was a selfish person. So there's a stipulation in your contract that you have up to a certain date for somebody to be late, and you can leave and get all your money. So I'm the captain of this team. We haven't been paid for basically I was at my breach, and I could have left. Team came to me and said, hey, we could pay you everything we owe you right now.
But nobody else get paid.
Nobody else in the team will get paid until whenever. So can we give you, I don't think it was like 20% or 25% of what we owe for now, and then owe you. All right. Captain Hawk.
Right.
Sure. I want, these my homies. I ain't gonna be
that guy
eating steak and while they
Right. Damn, y'all ain't get paid yet?
Damn, y'all. Sheesh.
Woo!
Coming out with these bags.
Somebody
Can you carry that bag for me?
Right.
Can you help me carry these bags?
Right.
So, fast forward. Basically, it comes out that I get a dirty urine. And the result of that mess that everything went through, 4 years done. Now, when you look at it and do your research for what for what the reports were, there's people who came out and said, yeah, I did this, I did this, I did this. Multiple reports. 1 year max suspension. Halfway through that, they cut some off, so 6 months. I'm like, heck no. Like, retest this. 4 years.
At
4
age 30.
years. At age 30. 4 years just so happens to save them because it's past my 3 years. Mm-hmm. And then some. Say it's 1 year or 2 years, they still have to pay me for the remainder of that.
Mm-hmm.
So not only did it was 4 years, they sued me
for the money that you already got.
No, for the money that they owed.
Mm.
And the thing is, in Europe, in these types of cases, it's not no. All right, I'll get my lawyer and they're billing me and nah. You want this case? You're paying this up front. You got to pay for their side, for that. So I'm like, but I'm fighting it, of course, because I'm like, man, this is my life, this is my career. I'm not even going to say the number that I had to put out there just to fight it, just to get shut down. So you could just imagine, 4 years abruptly stop in your prime.
Income. The game itself.
The perception, coming home and, the switch up.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I had to deal with all of that, the negativity, everything. But it made me, now, not saying I'm glad this happened, but to look at the bright side of things and to look at the glass is half full opposed to half empty. It's so many things that I got to do that I wouldn't have been able to do personally, family-wise, being over there. It was certain things, because when you're getting it and all the getting is good, you don't see things a certain way as I do now, like getting life in general. What's important and what's not.
Right.
Of course, money is important, but money is paper. If Wall Street crashes today,
right,
what is it worth, all this paper, like relationships, rapport, like a lot of things, and getting rid of dead weight, getting rid of a lot of people who are around just
because of money.
Yeah, so I had to deal with all of that. Like, first time having a 9 to 5, other than a summer job, back in the day, but the corporate world, you know what I'm saying?
Eye-opener, humbling.
Yeah, very humbling experience.
When they hit you with this now, I know, of course, at the beginning, it's like, yeah, I'll play again. When that first time you get that 9 to 5, or that first time now you're 33, you're 34, you haven't played at that professional, did you ever start realize, did it sink in, or did you ever think to yourself, like, there's no more basketball? Basketball's done?
I never accepted that,
okay,
no matter who said it or whether it was the truth or not.
Right.
I never accepted it because, like I said, now if you give me 10 years,
right,
I'm like, you gave me 4, so I'm like, it's not ideal, but I'm looking at this dude is playing a decent level at this age, and I know me, and I know my determination. I'm like, this 4 years up, I always hoped and paid and tried to pay for an appeal to have it reduced. It didn't happen. But I'm like, all right, end of the day, 4 years, I'm 34, I could go back and get some bump. At least if it was for 1 year.
During this time here, what's the longest period you went without playing basketball?
Oh, so I don't know exactly, but I know that's the other thing. During this time, I dealt with injuries too. And normally being injured or something, you're on the team, you get the right treatment, you get, people taking care of you. Like, it's like now, it was the City of God's thing with the TBT. I'm ready for this. There's a chance to make some money. We have a great team. Wow, Achilles. Not torn, but I had a problem with my Achilles to where I can't do anything. So now I'm just sitting at this desk. Snacks.
right.
Little Debbie's, coffee. You know what I'm saying? And not playing, not being active because I can't. So I don't know how long that lasted.
Okay.
Get back. Bow, Achilles again. But right before the team, you there.
Of course I know.
The tournament. So I'm just like, that's kind of when it's like, come on. I'm fighting it. Like, I don't want to see the signs. No. It's not over.
Right.
Like, not when I'm getting back. It's like, nah. It ain't meant to be. I'm like, nah. This is just another trial that I have to say, like, I have to overcome. Mm-hmm. It's going to make the comeback even more sweeter. Like, so finally, the first season, Big 3.
Before we get there, I want people to fully put this in perspective. Like, at your height, you're in Europe, okay? So everybody thinks if you're not in the NBA, you're not. Like, I want to put this in perspective. Like, you own the Bentley.
Yeah.
you're doing well. Life is good. You're doing very well. You're living a good life, and you're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
You're working a 9 to 5.
Right.
You're back-to-back Achilles.
Back-to-back Achilles.
Your life is a little bit different, but like you said, you're going from being the first on the medical sheet. Like, no, we got to make sure it's Achilles to just. Hey, you're at the yeah, right. You're at the right age like me. Like what hours the bandages on? You know what I mean? And you're there. So like that's a humbling thing.
It is.
And major differences. You're 34 now. You're not 30. You're 34. I don't even think the Big 3 even existed at this point in time.
It didn't.
Right. So there really wasn't even a.
Yeah. So another thing, and this was like me, like this is something I had to like, come on, dog, you had to be real with yourself. So I first go back over, the band is up. I went back over, I signed with the team in Italy. And I'm just, how you look at yourself in the mirror, you see what you want to see. Like,
right, absolutely.
I'm popping still, but on the outside looking in, like I got the little gut lap, like hanging over, like I'm like, so the team is like, I'm used to, because my nickname in Italy is Falco, because it's Hawk in Italian, so Falco flies. I'm used to Falco flying, like heavy layups now, like they want to see dunks, but heavy smack the backboard hard,
right.
But I'm like, I'm still can outplay these at this level. But it's the perception. It's how it looks.
Right.
So they say I go past my physical. They say I fail my physical because it's not up to their standards how my body looked. So I was like, all right, and it didn't hit me until then, but I get on the scale, I'm 265. And I've never been a small guy because of my bone structure. Like my playing weight is 230, 235, right? But it said 265, so I'm looking, I'm like, damn, my face is a little fat. Like, it is, like, butt jiggle a little more when I run. I'm feeling it now. Like, it all hit me at once. So I was like, all right, I'm not coming home. Like, people didn't know. Like, people thought I was signed playing in Italy that first year. Nah, from a relationship, I called my boy, an Italian that I used to play for, that was on my team in Rome. Man, where you at now? He was in a city called Mantova. Man, I'm gonna just come through, kick it with y'all until I figure something out. Yeah.
Slash moving.
So listen.
So this is doing on Tuesday till January.
But this is when things start turning. This is when God's favor starts coming in. I go there, and I start practicing with his team. His team is like, man, that other team tripping. Man, we trying to sign you. But at this point in that division, you can only have 2 Americans. And they already had 2. And even if they change or cut one, they only can spend 2 visas. So it's like they spent their 2. The only way that they could get somebody new is if they get somebody from another team that a team has already paid that visa for.
Right.
So, but a team in another lower division, local, man, we'll give you this car, house, this little bag for the rest of the season. Like, yeah, you're gonna be playing against in the murals or the YMCA.
Right.
But I'm like, for me, I need these youngsters to run me up and down this court. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can work on my game. I'm cool with that. So I end up staying there the whole rest of that season. So come home, I'm back down to 235. And like people looking like, man, what the heck going on? Like, what you? And I just really, I made it a conscious decision. I'm like, dog, what you want to do? Like, what dude do you want to be? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want your kids to Google you and that be the last thing they see? Or your kids to Google you and you ended your legacy how you want it? Like you said, Big 3 wasn't here. I wasn't expecting that. I just wanted to end it on my note.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, come home and then I get another offer overseas. Then the TBT, it comes around, I can actually play this time. I'm not hurt, but during that time, can we get into the Big 3 yet?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so during that time overseas, the Big 3 comes up. I can't make it to the combine. I can't make it to the draft and everything.
Season 1.
Season 1.
Season 1.
So, I'm still like, dang. But some relations I had, or at least, I'm like, plus seeing some of the guys that were drafted, being my friends and knowing them, and I'm like, man, I should have been in there. So, God's favor comes back, and through a relationship with DeMar Johnson, they give the teams a chance because so many players missed out. They were like, all right, we got another slot for the reserves.
Mm-hmm.
DJ made me a reserve. Now, at that time, it wasn't no biggie because of who that. Because I'm a reserve. I think I played 3 games of maybe minimum minutes, hit a couple threes.
Right.
Like, it wasn't really no news, right? But that grandfathered me in for season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because mind you, before this year, they changed the rules.
Because of you.
Yeah, because of me, they changed the rules for overseas players. So, yeah, I laid the path for them. I was the sacrificial lamb. I had to go through all that. Who is the dude? People trying to snitch on me. He never played an NBA minute.
Mm-hmm.
This is true. But I have got an NBA check.
Right.
So, I'm in there. I didn't put no work in there, but.
Right.
So, season 1 is over. Going to season 2, I start hearing this other stuff. Oh, it's getting bigger now. Like, oh, all these names in the combine. Oh, they coming out now. It's going to be bump out there. I said, all right. So the team I signed with, I told them, before we even make anything official, at some point in April, I'll be gone for a week. I got to go to this combine at the Big 3 in LA, and that's the priority here. It could be the finals, game 7 of our league. I want you to know I'm on that bird. You know what I'm saying? So they're like excited, man, because you gotta imagine they're fans too. These are not like no egos on this team at that level.
Right.
They're real fans. Like some of these kids on my team used to come see me, watch me play in Rome, and got pictures when I've taken pictures with them and signed their jerseys. Now they're like on my team. Like the owner of the team was 25 or something. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, I'm all for it. We pay for you to go there. sent me there, so I went there on the mission.
Can I pick up the story from there?
Go ahead.
So, I'll pick up the story just in a proud brother moment in terms of this is where everybody knows that I'm a huge sports fan, but there's a lot of lessons in life that you can take from sports and that sports transfer over. And one of the things that stood out the most to me about this whole everything, because I've been a part of this journey about 6-7 years with you now, and I met you at about your lowest point. So I didn't know any of this Super Hawk or any of that type of stuff. And to see you at your lowest point and never give up. And when they told you that it was going to be done, that you, and again, not even knowing that there was such thing as a Big Three existed, and to see the work that you put in. So you go to, so now we say season 2, there is over 100 NBA players, NBA All-Stars, there's lottery picks, there's a handful of guys who were drafted number 1 overall. And there's over 100 guys, and there's 14 spots. 19 spots. And I remember me and DJ having a conversation. He said, man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. He's like, it's going to be tough. Hawk is going to have, with the names that are there, and you not having a name on that level, and you being out of sight for so long, Hawk is going to have to do a lot to win this thing. And I remember thinking, being with you through that journey and how much you were looking forward to and how focused you were, for the first time I started thinking, yo, this is going to crush Hawk. This is going to crush Hawk. And you even reached out and said, I want you to be there to come along with me. Bet we go there. And that day, you were in a gym full of 100 people. David Hawkins was the best basketball player in that gym. Andre Emmett, 1 and 2. I don't, whichever one you want.
It made it look crazy because we was on the same team on 2 and 3.
You, Andre Emmett, Mike Sweetney, and who was the fourth person?
Ryan Gomes. Right.
They break you guys up, and these are all NBA players. I mean, they're beating these guys 11-0, 11-2, 25, just to the point that they made you guys leave. They said you guys had to come off the court because you guys were undefeated, and it wasn't even close. You and Andre Emmett on the same team. Big Mike, I wish he had gotten drafted, was doing work on the block. But you guys were running through teams. And when you went there as, man, it's going to be next to impossible to Hawk get drafted, to, by the time that day was over, the question was, are you going to go first, second, or third? And names of Jermaine O'Neal, Steven Jackson, Chauncey Billups are talking about you in terms of like, man, if you don't, Mike Bibby, man, I'm going to take Hawk. No, I'm going to take Hawk. She ain't going to be there when we, DJ, you going to take him, da-da-da-da. And it was like, that just shows, man, you put in that hard work, and like you said, at one point in time, you were 265, and you weren't even getting paid to be out there, and you just said, know what? No. I need to go inside and do this. And I think it motivates me and others out there that you can be like, you weren't even getting paid, but you say, it's not about getting paid. Who do I want to be? And this is what I want to do. And you did it. And you set your goal on something, not money aside, set money aside, like, no, I'll do this for free. I want to get in shape. And we can all do that in our lives in terms of work on our craft, not worry about money. No. Me and Wing, you sat down to talk, and I'm going to do this for 4 months, 5 months, free. Forget money, just to get better at my craft. And then now when it's my 10th opportunity, seize it. And you went out there and you did all of that. And I remember even talking to you on draft day and draft night and everything through that whole process. And you were so hell-bent on you wanted to go first or second. And I said, man, you just got to get in that right position. And, man, how did everything land up? So you land up on a team with Jermaine O'Neal, 6-time All-Star, in my case, in my opinion, a Hall of Famer. Amar Stoudemire, absolutely a Hall of Famer. Nate Robinson, a great ball of energy, a great player. And Robert Hype. And Bonzi Wells, awesome, NBA great. And you lead the team in scoring. You lead, you led the league in scoring for the majority of the season. At one point, you were like first in scoring, second in rebounding, third in assist, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. And everybody's saying, who is this? And bam, this the same guy who 2 years ago was working a 9 to 5 is Ice Cube is shaking your hand. LL Cool J is shaking your hand. People are saying Corey Maggetti's looking you eye to eye and seeing you as a peer. From sitting on the sideline, that's proud. You know what I mean? Like, wow. And it's a lesson to be learned just in terms of hard work. It was seeing something come full circle. You know what I mean? And just to even be along for the ride, watch you take it all in. It was very proud and inspiring, and I felt like it was a story that had to be told in terms of just don't give up. Right. You know what I mean? And that here we are in an arena full of, there's several Hall of Famers on the tour, there's NBA All-Stars, and David Hawkins is the who. Who's that? Who's that? And they ain't asking that anymore.
But Boston, I never forget Boston, and I wasn't used to this at all. I actually missed the free throw because my knees were shaking on the free throw line in TD Garden Arena.
Probably know what you're about to say.
They chant MVP. And so I'm like, who? I'm thinking somebody walked in. I'm like, oh, Paul Pierce must have came here for a minute.
Normally that's my job, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm the one yelling the random things out the
random
crowd.
stuff. Hawkins number one. Who is Hawk?
Right.
But nah, I'm at the free throw line and they're like chanting MVP, and I'm thinking to myself like, I swear somebody must have walked in, and they former Boston MVP, Celtic MVP must have came in. But now I'm like, nah, they might be talking about me. I start getting wobbly. Like, I'm surprised I hit the rim.
Nah, they were actually screaming MVP for you, and you have a great season.
Like,
what's that like now? From, like you said, just a few months ago, your teammates were, like you said, a 25-year-old kid who looked up to you and you signed your jersey to. Now you're in an actual locker room where you're coming from Philly. Dr. J is your coach. Amari Stoudemire is your teammate. Jermaine O'Neal is your teammate. Nate Robinson is your teammate. Bonzi Wells is your teammate. What is that? Hype is your teammate. I don't want to leave my man out. What is that like to you? Like, man, these are my teammates now.
It's even more humbling. Like, I had to humble myself from being on top to facing the struggle of life. So now it's kind of like, I could be like, oh yeah, I'm with, you know what I'm saying, I'm a part of, nah. Like, these are people who I've always looked up to, or they got to the level that I wanted to always aspire to be. So I'm just taking it all in. I'm just happy. Like, I think that's part of, it wasn't even about, oh, I got something to prove in the Big Three this season. Because I feel like whenever I step on the court, I have something to prove anyway. Like, I want to leave my mark. But I was just so genuinely happy and just blessed and just excited that I just played free. Like, for the first time in a long time, I really just was having fun. I was having fun out there, and it was just, and everything else just came together organically. Like, the relationships I built, the chances, the memories, like having my boys.
The two boys you ran out with them.
Right, at the front
They're
row.
on TV. They're on Fox.
It's like,
they're on Fox.
They don't even realize it.
No, they will.
They will later on be like, oh, how cool is this? My daughter. I ran out with the tunnel with my daughter. She like, Uncle Drew come out this summer. She knows Boots, Nate Robinson. She taking picture with Nate. Like, she like, that's Boots. Like, this is all stuff that's like, I mean, I can't answer for it anymore. Like, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I'm happy, and it's like, would I wanted it to go through what I went through for it to get there? Heck no. Like, it could have been an easier lesson to be learned, right. But for it to get to here, it just made all that like, okay, not as bad, because you might think it's the worst thing to happen to you. I'm still here. I still have my health. I still have my family. I still have my morals. I'm still solid. Like, I have my real friends. Like, all of that is what's important to me.
And the thing is that if I had told you at the height of your career, so let's take it to the height of your career, that year you're in Europe and you're making whatever and you're the height of your career. If I had said, you know, your career is going to end with you playing on Fox, you'd be like, I don't know about that. Like, I'm not playing on Fox now, so I'm not sure how the hell your career is going to end with teammates like Mari Stoudemire, Jermaine. I don't know about that.
Right.
Like, those are my teammates now, so I don't see how the hell they going to be my teammates. Dr. J's going to be.
It's going to be another lockout. They coming over.
Right, exactly. You'd be like, nah, that ship has already sailed. Like, I'm not going to be suiting up against Mike Bibby and Steven Jackson and Chauncey. I'm not going to be playing against those guys. Like, I've already accepted that part of that. My NBA dream, didn't happen. I didn't get. And then it's like, no.
Getting calls from Clyde Drexler, Charles Oakley, just saying, "Oh, I'm just checking up on me." Like,
what they can to secure you for next season.
I'm just saying though, but that's just like, I look at it like totally different. Maybe for the guys that I'm with, that's in this big three, it's nothing for them. I mean, the big three for them is probably like, come on, all right, it's something to do.
Right.
Like, I done played in the NBA Finals, biggest stage, this and that. For me, this is just like, man, and it's not even about being like a groupie or like a...
No.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I have no problem saying that I looked up to certain guys, or I'm a legit fan, or I admire this person. And it doesn't have to be somebody who's wore a uniform. Like, I admire whoever inspires me, or whoever...
Could be a Nancy Lieberman,
like...
Could be Ice Cube, to me. I mean, that's...
Like an innovator, like a pioneer, like...
When you saw... I don't know about you, but when I saw the NWA movie came out, and you just see where Ice Cube's life started, and then you see where he's at today, it kind of makes you ask yourself, what the hell am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, look what this dude has done. And you're like, he came from there to, like... movies, music, league, everything you can think, ownership, and you start yourself, you're like, maybe I should wake up a little bit earlier tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I should do a little bit more.
One less drink.
One less beer. I was going to say, one less beer. Because you start saying to yourself, like, what the hell am I doing with myself? Yeah. And just being around those type of people, no, absolutely will make. And like I said, I remember when you hit that game winner and you fall in the Ice Cube thing, and it just seems surreal, and it's like, after what you had been through and everything, it was awesome, and it's an awesome story, and it's one of the big three. It's just one of many, and it's one of these things that people come to these games. You never know what somebody's been through. You never know where somebody's come from and where this story leads to. And one day you was stacking boxes or doing whatever the hell it was you was doing, and now you're hitting game-winning shots on Fox and falling into Ice Cube and LL Cool J. You're coming out the tunnels with your kids.
I still watch that highlight, and I'm like, man, that ain't happened. Like,
Unreal,
again, I went over and over and over again to try to get that feeling again. Like, I know it was out of body. Like, that's why I just sat there and laid back. Like,
yeah, I see it.
I just want to stay right here, like, for the rest of my life.
Right, like, Dave, wake up, it's time for school. As you think like it's a dream, right? Yeah. Like, your mom's going to be waking you up like, boy, stop dreaming about that silly stuff. Mom, I just hit a game winner at Ice Cube.
I wake up like this.
Yeah, whatever, Mom. Time to go to the...
You know what I'm saying? It was so real.
Absolutely.
Shoot J's in my sleep.
So, now, what's next for David Hawkins?
So, next, I leave in less than a week to go back to that same team. So, like I said, that team, as much as I helped that team helped me. These youngins, their energy, how they're looking up to me, and how they feel around me is how I felt around those guys, because they're all, they're all from Rome, mostly from Rome. I made my bones in Rome. First 4 years was in Rome. Like, Rome is really my second home. Like, so we won the championship. Now, for that championship, that league, it's not parades, it's not confetti. I don't even think we got... Yeah, we did get a trophy, but not even individually. Some of these guys would never won the championship, or never know how it feels to be number one. They went from one level to the next. They got promoted. So I'm going back to that same team.
Try and do what you can help.
To bring them, to try to put them up to this next division. And at the same time, to get me back into that mode that got me there ready for the Big Three, because when I come home in June, Big Three will be right around the corner.
Mid-season form.
And I'm in blast.
That's awesome, bro. Foundation?
iHawk Foundation, incredibly helping all women and kids. the same. The mission is just as the acronym. I just want to be there to assist in any way for the it's not just women and kids, but kind of the mentality is for those that are less fortunate, and that's not saying it is a slight, because for a minute we had to search and look for a name or a way to put it that it defends no one, but it's a reality that there's some people less fortunate than others, and whatever it is, money, housing situations, whatever. So trying to get that off the ground, I think the launch will be like right before the big three, because I got to get everything in order. I want to make sure it's done right, have my peoples together, because my idea is to launch it, and then God willing, I'm a part of the big three, season 3, because nothing is given. I mean, nothing is promised. Each city I go to have I don't know how many, but at least one family or one single income household to come to dinner, to take them out to dinner or something that they'll be able to feel appreciated or special. And then of course come to the game and try to meet as many people that they can and take pictures. And the guys are all cool with things like that. Like, I don't feel like I'll be rubbing somebody the wrong way. Can you get this picture?
Right.
Or say some words to them. And then that'll be as far as the big three. And I think that will lay the foundation to get it out there more. But locally, I want to do camps for kids that are free. And that's no knock on the guys who have their camps that get paid for, because that is your craft. And that is you put in work that you could get money off that, but not everybody can make it to your camp.
Right.
And it should be something for everybody. So camps, even down to programs for these mothers, or maybe even single fathers or single father households that may then get their degree or their diploma even. GED programs for them. PSAT programs for the kids so they could get into these schools, and some type of education program for these mothers or for these parents, because they're dealing with a whole lot now. And if you have a kid that is pretty good and you got all these hands around and you don't know where to turn, to have some knowledge of what to expect coming up, if you have a kid that will probably go to school for free. So, I mean, the sky's the limit for that, because helping all women and kids and helping out, that can touch so many angles. It's not like, oh, I'm just doing this, just doing this, just doing this. So.
All right, well, it's only been 35 years, 34, 36 years, and life is here, there, and every which way known to man all over the country. Basketball has taken you everywhere. It's given you a lot. It's taken a lot away from you, and then giving it back to you. I mean, I just always felt like it was a great story, and through it all, you've always remained humble and loyal. And I think it's a great story, and I think that more people need to look up your story, and you'll get a chance to tell it on a bigger stage later in life. But like I said, it doesn't have to be a sports story. It's just about getting knocked down. It's about getting knocked down and getting back up, and investing in yourself. That's the main thing, is that investing in yourself and believing in yourself. Like I said, you made a decision to stay out there, get better. Most people would have said, "Nah, I'm not going out there. I don't stand a shot." And you went out there, and they said you would be a long shot to make the team, and you did, and you didn't just go out there, and you went out there with a mission to dominate, and you did, and you didn't back down from anybody. You wanted to do it, and I think that we all, as because it's almost like you're an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? You're investing in David Hawkins, just a basketball player, and that's a lesson that we all can learn as entrepreneurs. We were investing in ourselves, and you got to believe in yourself, because it's not about whether anybody else believes in yourself. That doesn't really matter. You invested in yourself, you believed in yourself, and you hit a home run. You know what I mean? And now it's been that, and it just opened up other doors that you didn't see, and even opened up doors for people like myself, or whatever the case may be. So that's just a great lesson, and it's been awesome to be along the ride with you. You know that I'm your number one, if not number two fan. Always supportive of you. And
you've been very, very, very pivotal in this whole, at least this, when you told me, and I don't know if you remember telling me this, that TBT game was probably my first game playing since the injury of the last year. And you said, I don't know where you're going to play your first game at, which game, which league. Your first game, I'm going to be there, Hawk. And I'm like, all right, because at this point, there's a lot of people saying that they were going to be there.
Right.
But you were right there, front and center in Philly. Yep. We lost that game, but I think you saw then the turn from, like, oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then it went on from there. You've been great for me, a great support system. It's always good to look over and then have you there rooting for me. And just been, just like I said. Well, I haven't said this, but for every day one isn't your A1. Mm-hmm. So I didn't grow up with you. I met you through somebody who knew somebody. Mm-hmm. But the bond we built, is unbreakable now, and we have our own thing. We don't.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So you're a genuine dude, and I know that support is genuine. The support that you're showing me, it has you're not looking for nothing in return. Like, you're genuinely like my friend and a support.
And that's how friendships should be. And we'll support each other to the rest as we go up this mountaintop together. All right, well, I thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said, if you're not familiar with David Hawkins, look up the story. He didn't just come out of nowhere. If you follow college basketball, he dominated that. You know what I mean? And you might not know who he is, but I promise you, your favorite basketball player, they know who he is. And it's a great story. It's a story about getting knocked down and getting back up. Season 3, Big 3. Of course, like you said, nothing is promised, but I'm pretty sure you will see him in there. And, man, he's a guy that you should cheer for. And I promise you, if you see him on the street, tell him what's up, and he'll be more than happy to stop and say hello. So, again, everybody, thanks again for tuning in. That's David Hawkins. You now know his story. Cheer for him. And I'm your host, Mark Ray. And until next week, we'll see you later.